Well, Jake Perkins, this Ireland Classic, it looks like it's getting bigger than most mainstream race meetings.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event and has been for a number of years. Obviously, the week before the Grand Prix, it helps attract a lot of international guests and cars, and just the amount of people that come down and really enjoy the historic racing. It's a credit to the VHRR and Ian Tate for putting on such a wonderful event. And normally the weather's supposed to be pretty good this time of year in Phillip Island, but as we know, that can do anything. But and obviously this year we're very proud to have one of our own cars here participating.
Yeah, so how many years have you been coming here to this event? Because now it's into its 31st year.
Yeah, so I've been coming for the last sort of 4 or 5 years, with probably even more than that, to be honest. The last 10 years, just come and have a look. Dad's been involved as a patron of the event for a few years as well. But yeah, it's certainly an event that I've enjoyed coming to look at the cars, and more so now as some of these cars that I've raced have become historics as well. It makes it quite neat. So and being at Phillip Island, it's obviously an historical track. My grandpa raced here in the 50s when the circuit was first opened, and then obviously Dad raced here, and now I've raced here as well. It's a really cool part of Australian motorsport.
It is. It's one of the best tracks in the world, actually, whatever form of motorsport you're into.
Yeah, it is. It's it's just a brilliant circuit, well maintained by the Lynn Fox Group and the family. They do a great job, and without circuits like this in Australia, we don't have anywhere to play. So it's a credit to the family for keeping such a well-maintained venue, and great to allow them to put on events like this, along with World Superbikes and MotoGP. It's it's obviously cool to be standing here in the garages where Valentino Rossi's probably been standing as well. But obviously, it's just really cool to be down here, and it's great to see all these competitors.
Yeah, and now, well, competitors, you need the machinery to go with the competitors. So talk us through this old beast.
Yeah, this is a 2003 Bathurst car for my old man. He finished 4th in it. It was his last competitive race at Bathurst. And we actually set about the restoration of this car in 2012. 8 years later, we finally finished the project, and it's been restored to exactly how it was on the grid of Bathurst at the Bathurst Day in 2003 when Dad had his last race. So all the original paint scheme on the car, all the original mechanicals are on the car, and for Dad to have his first drive of the car in practice at this event, first time he's driven it since 2003, was really cool. So a lot of blood, sweat and tears have gone into the restoration, and it's been a proud project of ours to do, and it's great to bring it down here and let Dad have a bit of fun.
Bit emotional for him?
Oh, look, it might be. You'd probably have to ask him, but a little bit for me because I put so much time and effort into the restoration. But we're very proud of how it's come up. A lot of people don't do proper restorations in the sense that they make them look good on the outside, but the inside might not be true to form. But we've gone through every nut and bolt, making sure that everything's still original and mechanically sound, paint jobs correct, and the seats, all the ergonomics, fuel tanks, everything's all as it was in 2003, and that's what we're proud of, is our attention to detail.
Well, 17 years, how much deterioration had gone through? Was it been well looked after, that there was just more of a fine tune to bring it up to speed, or was it a complete every bolt, every nut being pulled out and serviced? It's
not an easy question to answer, to be honest, because in that period of supercars, 2003 up to say 2010, there was a lot of evolution with the cars. Engineering started to play a more important role. So this car was the first car that Perkins Engineering designed using CAD software. So all of a sudden you've gone from cars that had a lot of input from mechanics to now a lot more input from engineers, and they're the blokes that never work on the cars, so they're quite complicated to work on. But through the next few years from when the car was built, it went through a lot of evolution: engine, airbox, suspension, roll cage stiffness. So we had to do a lot of work to put the car back. We had to put bars back in the roll cage. We had to rejig certain things. It was a VZ Commodore. We needed to put it back to a VY Commodore. Lots of different things with the ECU wiring in the engine and the chassis, and just lots of little things that add up to what's been an 8-year project.
It's not very often you've got to go back in time to restore a car.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's actually harder than building it from new. The build of this car during 2003 might have only been 2 or 3 months, but admittedly we haven't been full time, but it's still been a lot of work to go back in time, because when you're putting something back to how it was, it's a lot different to building something from scratch. So yeah, it's been very, very methodical, and it's, yeah, like I said, taken a lot of time just to make sure we did all the right things and kept the attention to detail. It's very mechanically sound, so a lot of people think you put in old bolts in it, which is not true, but we tried to keep the car as original as possible. We replaced things that needed replacing, but if the original components didn't need replacing, we kept them in the car as well. So things like that, like I said, just really proud of what we were being able to put on the track.
I bet you have been. It'd be good to see it out there. So are you going to get a steer after all the work you put in, or Larry's going to be keeping hold of that steering wheel pretty tight?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get him out of the driver's seat, actually. No, I was lucky enough to give it a quick shakedown at Sandown before the event to make sure it was all good. And now Dad's, participating in the event, and I'm happy to watch it go around and a lot of people commented on how good it looks and how good it sounds, and it's all that sort of stuff I'm very proud of. I don't need to drive it. Dad drove it in its day, and he can drive it, moving forward.
And I think he'll drive it pretty hard this weekend. Thanks for joining us, Jack.
Cheers, thank you.